Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Live from the Hombre Cave. I am the Tequila Hombre, and I'm alive. Yes, I am alive. I might have to cough every once in a while. I apologize. I got this really nasty head cold, sinus infection thing that just destroyed me for about 3 days. So it's pretty much all gone out of my head. I still sound a little congested, my wife says, but it knocked me out. I was pretty much out all this weekend, and then finally started feeling mostly better yesterday, and now I'm back to feeling somewhat better today, but I'm still not to the point where I'm comfortable in actually consuming some alcohol yet. Because with me and sinus infection, stuff like that, I have to be careful because I'm an asthmatic. It could end up moving into my chest and causing bronchitis, and so I don't want to do that. So I'm refraining from drinking any agave spirits right now. So I'm going to let you guys do all the agave spirit drinking, and you can tell me what you're drinking, and I'll live vicariously through you for today. But today we're going to have a little discussion. We're going to talk about mezcals because there seems to be like a misguided uninformed disinterest in mezcal, which I don't understand because, we'll get into some of the reasons why, but I don't understand it. People are resistant to learning about and understanding mezcals. They all have their own preconceived notions about them, and I did too when I first started it. But I had to learn otherwise, and I had a really good mentor that helped me in learning otherwise and guided me on my journey, my agave spirit journey, mostly other than tequila. And I'm very thankful for him and what he did for me and the education he gave me. And so I'm going to pass it along and spread this stuff, this knowledge for you guys, so you can have a better understanding too about what we're looking at here and how to approach it, because you don't approach it like you do tequila. Okay, so I'm going to wait. It's 7 o'clock, so those people that aren't here, well, they're going to miss it. So, okay. Oh, well. So, hey, Jan. Jan's here. He says, I'm sipping on some homemade mezcal that a friend of mine, father-in-law, makes. Don't have all the particulars, but I'm going to get the backstory. It's really good. Oh, good. That sounds good. So we all like tequila, right? Well, tequila is a mezcal. Tequila is a mezcal. Yeah, believe it or not, it's a mezcal. A mezcal, if you want to. If those of you that are Spanish speaking that want to rip on my Spanglish, mezcal. I can't help it. I switched to English and I want to say mezcal. So I apologize if me saying mezcal versus mezcal upset you. I apologize, but get over it. Seriously. All right, so tequila is a mezcal. A mezcal, by definition, or mezcal, however you want to say it, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother anybody in Mexico either. So, however you want to say it, is a spirit made from agave, from cooking agave. And so, by definition, it covers a lot of things. So, mezcal, and people always say, well, mezcals are tequila's smoky cousin. That's wrong. It's not. Because tequila is a mezcal. Now, what happens is, back in the day when tequila was first made, right? They used to bury the agave in the ground and cook it using fire and, wood fires and hot coals and cover it up, and the same way they do mezcal now. But it's got commercialized over the years, right? So they can do more of it at a time and do it faster. So they started using steam ovens with big boilers that create the steam and stuff. But but tequila was actually produced the same way mezcal is now, back when it was first started, before it got all industrialized. But now it's industrialized, and what industrialization's really done is kind of made it more bland and mainstream, and less authentic, I guess you can say. You by tasting tequila now, you're not tasting tequila the way it was made and what it tasted like back when it was made before industrial boilers and stuff, when it was first being made and people were enjoying the vino de mezcal, de tequila, which is what it was called, the wine of the mezcal of tequila. You're not tasting authentic tequila. And even the ancestral tequilas that you find from like Siembra Valles and stuff, even those are mere impersonations of what a real, authentic, historic tequila tasted like. So hello, sorry, no mezcal, but sipping on Lalo. I didn't lightly. New mezcal glass. Nice. How do you like the glass? It makes a difference, doesn't it? Beyond Barrels says hola. Hola, Beyond Barrels. Hey, Agave Bobby Dell. Hola. Bienvenido. Welcome. Glad you can make it. So we're talking mezcals today, guys. So tequila is a mezcal, you guys. So if you say I don't like mezcal, you're wrong, because you're drinking tequila and tequila is a mezcal. All right. So what happened is, just like tequila, right? They created a designation of origin for it. They wanted to protect the word mezcal, so people in other countries weren't producing mezcal. But they wanted to give the producers that were producing using other agave and stuff, their own designation of origin, their own, word to use. And so for the people that produce it in 9 different states in Mexico, in the areas that are designated by the DO, they can call their spirit mezcal. Now, tequila has rules for making tequila because they want to keep tequila consistent, right? Where it's got to be Weber Blue Agave. It's got to be at least 51% agave. The rest can be whatever sugars you want in order to call it tequila. In order to put 100% agave, it's got to be 100% fermentable agave in it. It also has to be produced in Jalisco or in 4 small municipalities around. So there's small areas of Michoacan, of Tamaulipas, of Guanajuato, and I'm trying to remember the last little municipality, but none of them really matter because most of the tequila and anything good is really made in Jalisco. In either the area around Tequila or up in the Los Valles area. So any mezcals made outside of that area in one of the 9 different states that you can use to make mezcal can be called mezcal. Now then, there's Bacanora. Bacanora is a mezcal as well. But it can only be made in Bacanora can only be made in out of Chihuahua, in that Sonora. And then I'm trying to remember. I think Bacanora can also come from Durango. No, Soto. Soto can come from Durango. Bacanora is from Chihuahua and from Chihuahua, that area there, and Sonora. I think it's Sonora. So different areas have their different things. Raicilla is a mezcal from Jalisco, but they couldn't call it mezcal, and they can't call it tequila because it doesn't use Weber Blue Agave. Instead, they use other agave and it's made in either the coastal region or out in the mountains, where it's either Sierra or La Costa. So depending on where you look at raicilla, but it's basically a mezcal. They just use a different type of agave. So all of those are all mezcals. They're all mezcals by definition, but they're just from different areas, different regions, and they use different agave. So that's one of the main differences. So tequila in itself is a mezcal. You can't say I don't like mezcal. You can just say I don't like this particular mezcal, which is fine. What happens is people will try, they'll go out and they try a mezcal and they pick the wrong one because they don't do enough research, or they don't seek the assistance of somebody like myself who can kind of guide them towards different ones to try that may be suitable for their palate at first, because it's gonna take some time to get acclimated to a different flavor profile from a different agave. Even Espadín is different than Weber Blue, and because they use wood fires, and a majority of them, there's some mezcaleros that make mezcal that use above ground steam ovens. So there's no law saying it has to be done in the ground using wood fires. But the best mezcals are typically done that way. They're not as commercialized. So, but there is a flavor profile that's different. It's different flavor notes because you're talking different agave from different climates, from different terroir, different dirt, different ground that they're living in, different altitudes. So the flavors change depending on the different agaves too. And so there's also wild agaves that are being used for mezcals, and there's cultivated agaves, ones that are farmed. Weber Blue agaves, we know, is farmed. It's cultivated. It's planted. It's potentially problems with biodiversity, and they're trying to work on that. Where a lot of the wild agaves don't, because they're growing by themselves wild. And then what's happening is a lot of times they're pulling the seeds and the abuelos from the wild agave and planting them and kind of trying to semi-cultivate them themselves, but they're still wild. And some of the wild agave, some of the agave used for mezcal, can take up to 25 years to hit maturity enough where they can use it for a mezcal. So some of the agaves that are being used in mezcals are way older than any tequila based Weber Blue agave. There's some of them are really old. And so they have to be really careful about sustainability and making sure that they don't overuse these plants and allow them to propagate and to grow so they can keep producing the spirits. So there's some spirits that are made with wild agaves where they don't produce them as quickly, as much. So they're smaller batches. And so they tend to be more expensive because they're smaller batches. Excuse me. I told you I was going to have a little coughing here and there. Apologize for that. Hold on one second. Let me. All right. So I don't do it in your ear. So that's the thing. So when you try agave, you have to understand that you're trying a different animal. You're trying a different beast. You're trying not agave, mezcal. It's a different animal, so you have to approach it differently, and you have to expect different things. Don't expect it to taste like tequila, because it's not. It's not going to taste like tequila. Now, we had one mezcal that we got for the collective, the Tequila Barrel Agave Collective. And it's one of the ones I feature in my video today as one that I recommend for beginners. This is La Luna. This is made with Weber Blue agave. This is a mezcal that's made with Weber Blue agave. They source the agave. They source this agave from within the Tequila DO. So in a small area of Michoacan, they can make tequila. And so that small area of Michoacan is where they went to source the agave for this. So this is actually made more like an ancestral tequila is than in most of the ancestral tequilas that you ever tried. So if you ever wanted to try a Blanco tequila or a Blanco, that was made like the way they used to make tequila way back before commercialization, this is an amazing spirit to do that with. This La Luna Tequila Temporada de Lluvias. It was done during the rainy season. That's why it's called that. But with this one, the agave were cooked in a conical oven in the ground using wood fire, but it was also then distilled using a hollowed out tree trunk and a clay pot, just like they did back in the old days. It tastes great. It's very little smoke on it. It has a lot of interesting fruit flavors, including pomegranate, which it has. It's called Granada. They put pomegranate in the still on the second distillation. So it has a little bit of the nice fruity pomegranate flavors in it too. So it's got a really nice flavor profile and it's different though, but it's going to be different. And it may have a little bit of smokiness in there, which kind of really gives it an interesting flavor profile where the smoke's not overriding everything though. You're not going, oh my God, that's smoky. But it's going to be different. It's going to be different than what you're used to because it's not industrialized like a lot of the tequila that you're used to. So when you try this, don't expect to think that, well, you might, some people do, but don't expect that you're going to go like, oh, I love this, I'm going to first try. And this is fantastic. I mean, some people did. When I first tried Mezcal, I didn't like it. I said I didn't like it because it was overly smoky and it tasted like a burnt rubber wheel is what it tasted like a truck tire. But the first one that I tried, and that's when they said, whoa, you can't say you don't like it based on one Mezcal. And the one I bought was not a good quality Mezcal. It was a $22 bottle I got from Bevmo. So that's where my mentor stepped in and said, whoa, okay, dude, you got to, try other things. There's a saying in the Mezcal world, and it is if you don't like Mezcal, it's because you haven't tried the one you like yet. Which means there's a lot of different flavor profiles. Not all of them are going to taste like this. Not all of them are going to. None of the ones that I provided in that video today that I did, none of them taste the same. They all taste completely different. And so you can try all 5 of those and say, I like this one the most. And then what you want to do is look for more that are like that until you get to the point where you've built your palate up, where you're used to a lot of the nuances and a lot of the new flavors that are coming in, and then you can start exploring more into the more complex ones. But what some people do is they go out and they'll shop on price. Bad idea. They'll shop on Espadín, where you could be that you don't like the flavor of Espadín. They'll shop on because it's 40% and it's less, and bad idea. Not a good quality, not what you should be doing. Each different species of agave have different flavor profiles, different things that you like, different things that you don't like. So the ones that I gave today aren't terribly complex, but they're really good for people coming from tequila to start acclimating themselves to the different flavors that you can get drinking mezcals. Mezcal is an interesting rabbit hole. And once you get down it and you start really diving into the different flavors and stuff you can find some really interesting mezcals out there with some really interesting flavor profiles that come from some really interesting agave. There's a wide area that you can tap into that could really excite your taste buds and get you excited about agave spirits much more than tequila ever could. There's a large amount of people out there that are like, I don't even drink tequila anymore because for me it's boring. That's what they'll say. That's boring. I get taken on more journeys and more interesting experiences going for mezcals and other agave spirits than I do for tequila. And that's what happens, really. Sometimes you get into mezcals You start really trying some of these interesting flavor profiles. Then you're like, okay, I really like this one. I like, this particular agave. So you start trying that agave from different mezcaleros and seeing what they do as artisans and things that they change in the process and how it affects the flavor. And then you start really getting into things. And there's some really good mezcaleros out there making some really good mezcals. And by keeping your mind closed on this, you're shutting yourself off to a really incredible world out there of some other amazing stuff that you can try and like. So don't think because you tried a mezcal once and you didn't like it that you don't like mezcal. Because that's like trying a bubblegum brand and saying, I don't like bubblegum because I don't like this grape flavor that comes in this bubblegum. There's a lot of different flavors you can try. A lot of different producers of bubblegum that make better bubblegum, And I don't know if bubblegum's a good analogy to use, but but be receptive, be open, be adventurous, and you can really try some amazing agave spirits out there that'll blow your mind away. They'll blow your mind. So we're going to start diving a little more into mezcals and stuff. And I know I don't get a whole lot of views on the channel when I'm talking mezcals. Like right now, we only got 9 people here, where normally we're pushing 20. Because people see mezcals, like, oh, I'm out, and they leave, which is unfortunate. Same with the views on the Tequila Hombre channel. I do a mezcal video, and it gets like a quarter of the views that the tequila videos do, which is unfortunate. So what I may start doing is in the mezcal video, start burying some stuff, some offers and some giveaways and stuff that will reward those that are coming in and learning about this stuff, and then those that aren't will miss out. that makes things interesting. By the way, for those of you that haven't been caught up on my tattoos and stuff, this tattoo on my arm, this is Mayawel. And she is the goddess of agave and fertility. And she comes from the mezcal world, Mayawel does. So that's one of the reasons why I have her tattoo here. I can't see it too well, but she's the goddess of agave. So she's really big in the mezcal world. And so mezcaleros and stuff, when they see this, go, oh, Mayawel. They like that. Where this is the tequila tattoo with the chopping up the Weber Blue agave and stuff, getting it ready for production. The Himador. So I've fell in love with mezcals. I have a whole case. This whole case right here next to not this one here, but this one here. Let me see if I can show you guys here. There you go. All right, hold on. This whole case here, that's all mezcals right there. I got a ton of them. Whoops. Come on, turn the other way. There you go. I'm going to get y'all seasick with my webcam. But these are all mezcals right here. So I've got a lot. I've tried a lot. There's even some Sotos in there and stuff too, some agave spirits. But there is a lot of mezcals here that I've been diving into and really enjoying, and I want to share this with you guys. And bring you into this world that I love. I love drinking a good mezcal here and there. So it's a neat world. Don't be hesitant to dive into it. Explore it. And when you do, you'll be like, oh, hombre, I just tried this. It was fantastic. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to do more stuff on mezcals, and we're going to feature it here. And I'm going to bring some mezcal brand owners and some mezcaleros and stuff on here for interviews. And we're going to explore more mezcals together and see if we can get more and more people here interested in mezcals and enjoying them. And so we can talk about more than just tequila all the time. We can start talking about mezcals as well and different agave varieties and stuff like that. So there was a great mezcal in Tijuana over the week. Great mezcal fest. Oh, cool. Palomas Mensajeras from Michoacan is a great line. Yeah, there's a lot of brands that have great lineups, and there's a lot of brands that source their mezcals from mezcaleros all over. They don't just have one mezcalero making all their stuff. So all their stuff, doesn't taste the same. It'll come from different regions sometimes, or from different mezcaleros in the same region. And they can even source like the same. If they have an espadín, they can have like 6 different mezcaleros that make their espadín for them at different times. So that's one of the cool things about mezcals as well. So the mezcal world is a fun one, and I'd love to see you guys get more interested in it, and we can get into more things mezcal too, and even work on bringing in some good mezcal batches in, some buys, once we get enough people that are enjoying it. Right now we still have the Vago and the La Luna batches that we bought, mezcal, that are fantastic, and they're not sold out yet, but they're fantastic, and I recommend you guys try them and see what they're all about. So let's talk about some of the ones that I recommended today a little bit. And so first one we talked about was what? I'm trying to remember right off the bat. The De Matachinas. De Matachinas. This comes out of San Luis Potosi. Now, you guys saw the live stream I had where I had Darian come on, and I interviewed him, and we talked about this. It's a phenomenal mezcal for beginners. What is this? Jan says he's definitely a fan. So many variations with the mezcal. I'm also psyched to learn about different agaves. Oh, great. Quicksilver. That's awesome. 5 Centenitos and Durumbas, a great example of curators that have different. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then, hola, I'll give you a La Luna a try this weekend. I see Ramirez Beverage Center in Boyle Heights. No, they don't. Not the one that I'm talking about. That's the thing, is this one is exclusive to Ferment and Still. La Luna has different varieties, and they're all not the same. They're all going to taste different. So you could try 7 different expressions from La Luna, and they're all going to taste completely different. This is an exclusive batch just for the Ferment and Still that we did. And one of the reasons why we brought this in is because it's very good transitional mezcal for those that are drinking tequila. So don't think just because you saw La Luna in the store that you're going to buy La Luna and you're going to get the same experience you're going to get from this, because you're not. This is special stuff. This is made differently than most of their other stuff that they made. And then the reason why we brought this in to Ferment and Still was because it's a great transitional mezcal from tequila. So it's going to be different than what you can buy of La Lunas from any other store. So keep that in mind. They're all not the same. There's a lot of places that carry different expressions of La Luna. But they're all not going to be flavored, have a flavor profile like this. So what happened is you'll pick up something that's kind of interesting that they did, thinking, oh, well, he said La Luna's good. La Luna's a good brand. They make good stuff. But some of their stuff's going to be too advanced for a beginning person. So this was exclusive for Ferment and Still, this batch. We bought the whole batch. You can only get it on Ferment and Still. And I think we have the only ancestral one that they've done in a long time. The rest of them, some of them are artisanal. They have a Weber Blue that's artisanal. That's good. It's a good entry level one as well. If you want to buy that one, that's fine. This one blows that one out of the water as far as I'm concerned. So just because I say La Luna doesn't mean it's going to be any La Luna and you're going to like it. That's not going to be the case. There's some from La Luna that I don't particularly care for. But Salvador Chavez, he does a great job. He does a great job. He has a bunch of different flavor profiles that you can pick from him and not have the same experience if you taste across his line, which is great. They do great work at La Luna. So this one is De Matachinas. This comes out of San Luis Potosi. This one's actually cooked in steam ovens above ground. It's not cooked with fire in a pit. So no smoke. It's all steam ovens. This is really nice if you want to see what some interesting flavors you can get from the Salmiana agave. It's very easy to drink, and it tastes good. So that one I recommend too. And we only got 9 bottles of it because it's so small, such a small batch. So I think we have like 7 left of it because I bought one, and then one of the other viewers and stuff bought one too, who really liked it. But it's a good choice. Just a lot of people know about it because Darian came and talked about it here, and we didn't have it. I don't think we had it in stock yet. But it's a really good transitional mezcal that's going to give you a different agave to look at in the Salmiana agave, which is abundant in the state of San Luis Potosi. It's one of the main agave species they use in San Luis Potosi when they're making mezcals. So this one's really good. I recommend it. You can see I drank a large portion of my bottle. Now, another one that I talked about was El Pensador. El Pensador is a really good mezcal too. And the nice thing about this one is that it's not going to be as expensive as some other batches because we worked out a deal on this with their former importer because they decided they were going to change importers. And so they had a large batch of it that they just brought in that they're like, okay, well, we're not going to sell it anymore because we're not importing it anymore. Do you want it? We'll sell it to you cheap. So you guys can have it and issue it for your people. So, and so they sold it to us for really cheap. So this is selling unfermented still like for under $40. There's a Espadin Biquiche Ensemble, which is this one here, and there's also just a straight Espadin. Both of them for under $40, and it's really good. Very light smoke, very light. Hardly even notice it, but it's a good quality one. This one normally would retail for the Espadin. It'd probably be somewhere around $50 because it is higher proof. This is 47.5% for the Ensemble, and this one would normally run probably somewhere close to $80. But we got them for a good price. So I recommend this as a value thing. If you want something that's inexpensive, that's a good mezcal to drink. The El Camino del Pensador is a good one. I recommend it. All right. So then, excuse me. We talked about the Burrito Fiestero in the video as well. And the Burrito Fiestero is made by a group called Mague Spirits. It's the Cenizo. Now, they have an ancestral line, and they have a artisanal line. Now, the Cenizo is like their Weber Blue Agave of Durango, basically. It's the one that's abundant there. It's like the Salmiana in San Luis Potosi. Cenizo is abundant in Durango, where this particular Mezcalero is where they make this mezcal. So they they use Cenizo, and they are very good at it. It's a very good tequila for beginner, mezcal for beginners. Sorry, it's a very good mezcal for beginners. It's got a very pleasing flavor profile compared to some of the other ones out there, and very light smoke. They made that particular expression for entry-level tequila drinkers to really kind of dive a little bit into mezcal. So it's great for that. If you can't find the Burrito Fiestero, if you pick up the Bozal Cenizo, which is kind of a green bottle, they make it for them. So if you've had the Bozal Cenizo, it's actually made by Burrito Fiestero, by Maguey Spirits, for Bozal. So you can drink either of them, and you're drinking the juice from the same producer. But that's a really good one too. It's fairly expensive, I think $45, I think, something like that. It's higher proof. Most mezcals are good. Mezcals are higher proof. So you get an abundance of flavor from it, and they're really good flavor. It's really enjoyable spirits. So and then we talked about the La Luna here, which is a proprietary batch, right? This is ancestral. They used a hollowed out tree trunk to make this as a still with a clay pot at the bottom of it. And they used pomegranate in the secondary distillation on it. Yeah, you can taste the you can taste the pomegranate a little bit in it. It adds a little nice fruity note to it. It's not overwhelming at all, though. $34 for an ensemble. Yes, it's super cheap. Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying. It's a very, very good price, and it's a very good mezcal for it. Yeah, you get a bottle of the Penasco. Very good. I like the earthy taste, kind of like a clay pot note. Yep. It's going to be a little earthy. But for the price, it's a great budget option. But it's not a budget option, but we bought it at a value price, and that's why it's a great budget option right now. Once it's gone, though, it's done. We're not going to buy anymore because we got this from their old importer. So it's a good buy. So if you want to grab a good mezcal cheap, $34 for an ensemble, grab it. Get it. It's good. I have a few bottles of it. I enjoy it. All right. So then the last one we'll talk about that's from the video comes from Mezcal Vago. Vago makes good stuff. They have different mezcaleros that they use to make their batches, and this is the old label. They have a new label now, but so this one says the name of the mezcalero on it. It's Emigdio Jarquin, and he is a master at making ensembles. He makes some of the best ensembles ever. And so when they asked me, they said, "Hey, Mark, would you be interested in getting a batch for the collective?" I said, "Yeah, I would. I think we'd be interested in it." This is 51% alcohol too. For those of you, let's say you like higher proofs. This one was made exclusively for us. It was an experimental batch that Emigdio Jarquin made. It has 1, 2, 3 different types of agave in it. So this has 64% Quiche agave, 32% Espadin, and 4% Tempestate. And it tells you all the information on it. That's one of the nice things too about mezcals is they give you all the production notes on the bottle, so you'll know what they did. As you can see, it says type of still copper. It says, what is that? It says grind stone. So you use the Taona, the village it was made in, batch size. So this was 254 liters. So we bought all of it. At the class, it's a Joven, which means in mezcal, Joven means a Blanco. It means unaged, young. So anytime you see a Joven on it for mezcal, it just means it's a Blanco. They don't have Blancos and Repos and stuff. They do. Some people do aged mezcals, but I stay away from those. And this is a mezcal artisanal versus an ancestral. So there's two types of well, actually there's more. There's three like major kind of types of mezcals. There's mezcal artisanal, mezcal ancestral, and just regular mezcal. The ones that say just regular mezcal on them, stay away from them. You want it to either be artisanal or ancestral. This one is artisanal. Now, the one thing that's really nice about this is that with the way the flavors blend together, there's very little smoke at all, like none. Hard to press to detect any smoke on this. But there's so many amazing fruit and berry notes in this that it's awesome. It's awesome. And when I first tasted it, I looked at one of the owners of Vago. I had him on a live stream, so you can actually watch it on the Tequila Hombre channel. And I said to him, "Hey," I go, "I'm getting bubblegum on this." And he kind of looked at me and goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I get it now too." But it's like the old school Bazooka Joe bubblegum flavor. Yes. The old school, like the bubblegum you used to get in the baseball cards or Star Wars cards, or, they came with a little hard stick of gum that came in your card pack. It has that kind of original bubblegum flavor that comes from all these different berries. Because if you actually look up how do they make a bubblegum flavor, it's actually a mixture of different fruits and berries flavors that creates that flavor. So it's really actually kind of tasty and good. It's not overly sweet, but it is really tasty, really easy to drink, and it is 51% alcohol by volume. So you don't want to drink it too quick because it will it'll lay you out. But it's not hot. It doesn't have like a lot of heat. It's really easy to sip. Really well done. I'm surprised this one hadn't sold out yet, but everyone that's tried it, and even Mezcal Reviews said that this one in their eyes is a must try for anybody wanting to try mezcals. And they actually posted on their social media the picture. It's not listed on the Mezcal Review site, but the guys from there bought a bottle when we did our initial offering and posted a review and said it's phenomenal and it's a must try for those that like mezcal. And I think it's a must try for those that want to transition from tequila into mezcal, because this one will not turn you off. It will not have any weird smoky flavors and stuff, and it's absolutely delicious. I have 12 bottles that I'm keeping here, and every time I drink a bottle, I order more, just because I like this so much. When it's gone, I don't want it to go away. Who's the Mezcalero on Pensador? It doesn't have the Mezcalero on it. Mezcalero. Onofre Ortiz is the Mezcalero. Onofre Ortiz. Is mezcal more or as popular in Mexico than tequila? It's not as popular as tequila is. In tequila, I mean, but mezcal in Oaxaca is like all they drink. They don't drink tequila in Oaxaca. Because you can walk down the street and get mezcal. Because see, mezcal. While you and I, look at tequila, we see these big distilleries. Mezcals are made in these little, what they call palenques, which are little distilleries in people's backyards. That's how they produce such little amounts. They don't have these big factories producing them. They produce them in small, what they call palenques, in their backyard. They may have a burro to turn their donut wheel. They have their family members there helping them make it, or people from the community that help them make it, because they use that to support the community and to support their families. So it's kind of like a group project for the community and for the family, which is kind of different, but it's made a lot smaller scale. But you can go around Oaxaca and visit all these different palenques from people's backyards and try their mezcal, and they'll be more than happy to pour you some and give you something to try, and you can get all different kinds of wonderful flavors and stuff there, and experience like wonderful mezcals from all over, from different agave species as well too. I actually like the smoke. Yeah, I think it adds complexity too, and it gets to the point, and that's one of the reasons why I say give it some time, because a lot of times what happens is if you're not used to smoke flavor, it's going to be the first thing you taste. But when you come back and try it a second time, a third time, fourth time, maybe fifth at the most, that smoke flavor, you get used to it. So it starts blending in and stuff and adding more complexities in with the fruit flavors and everything else to the point where you don't even recognize it as smoke anymore. It's like good barbecue, right? If you haven't had a good barbecue and had good smoked meat and you try something, you go, wow, the smoke on this. And if you're an experienced barbecue person and you like smoked meat and do that a lot, it doesn't faze you, and you're like, I don't taste a whole lot of smoke. So those were 5 beginning mezcals that I gave you guys that you can dive into and try and see what the whole mezcal world is all about. Just don't grab the wrong stuff. Don't say I'm going to dive into mezcal and just pick up any old bottle, because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And you don't know whether it's going to be a good quality one. Just like you can drink a diffused tequila. Somebody picked up a bottle of Jose Cuervo, drank it and goes, this stuff's awful, I hate tequila. What would you say to them, right? You go, well, you don't hate tequila, you just don't like that tequila. But yet, all these tequila people treat mezcal the same way. They try mezcal, they go, ooh, I don't like the flavor of that. I don't like mezcal. No, you don't like you don't not like mezcal. You just don't like that particular one. What is that? Until I walk by the wife and she says you smell like a campfire. Yeah, exactly. My wife will tell me sometimes when I come in from the smoker, you smell like a campfire and stuff. She says, wow, this smoke's so strong. I don't smell it. Like, I don't smell smoke. I don't smell that. I smell like smoke. So this is the world of mezcal we're going to start talking about. We're going to start getting into. I've got some mezcaleros that have contacted me. I have a new Raicilla that's coming in that I'm interested in trying and talking about. But I have some mezcal owners, brand owners that I'm going to bring on to talk about their brands and stuff. So we're going to start talking about mezcals more. So don't be afraid to venture out and try some of the other mezcals on the market and see what you find. See what you like. And don't be afraid too that if you decide you want to go buy something from somewhere else, that's fine. That's okay. The only reason why we get the stuff at Ferment and Still, so it's easy for you guys to get it if you want it. And it's easy for me to talk about it and then you to say, okay, I can get it, versus I can't find that anyplace. So that's one of the reasons why I feature a lot of stuff on Ferment and Still, because I know most of the country can place an order and get it. But some of this stuff, some of the other stuff like Burrito Fiestero and Bozal, you can buy anywhere. You can buy the Durumbas San Luis Potosi anywhere to try. A lot of these you can buy anywhere. And if you have a question, of course, always ask. Excuse me. So I will, because I will be more happy to answer for you if I know anything about that mezcal. And try it, right? And just keep in mind that, hey, if you try it, you don't like it, say, okay, I don't like this one. But give it a chance too. Don't just try one sip right when you first open the bottle and go, okay, I don't like this one. Go back to visit 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 times at the most. And give it like a week between tasting it. And then come back, because that's what happened with me is I tried one, I go, I'm not particularly a fan of this. I put it away. I came back a week later, tried this one's actually not so bad. I'm going to try, I'll put it, and so I put it up on the shelf. I came back to it a week later, I'm going, I'm really liking this one now. And then I'm like, okay, I love this one. This is great. I really enjoy it. The vodka one I like straight off the bat. That one, you'd be hard pressed to say you don't like that one when you try it. I'm serious. That's such a winner in my book, and as a great mezcal for somebody that wants to jump from tequila to mezcal. It's a little more expensive because it's a small batch. It's $100, but it's also 51% alcohol by volume. So you're not going to drink this all very quickly. Otherwise, you may be comatose. So, but is a campfire bad? No, not necessarily. For some people, though, if they don't like smoke, a campfire could be a bad smell. So now we're down to 5 people. So we chased everybody away. That's like, I don't care about mezcal. I came here to learn about tequila. What they don't understand is tequila is a mezcal by definition. It was called the Vino de Mezcal de Tequila. I think I've told you guys that several thousand times. By definition, it's a mezcal, and it's one of the earlier mezcals. There was a bunch of mezcals from all over the place. People have been making mezcals since long time ago. I'm not going to give any dates because I don't know for sure. But, the Spanish conquest in Mexico was when really mezcals were really started popping up more and more. So that's how long ago it was when they were distilling it before they were using pulque, which is there's all kinds of legends about mezcal. Like one of the favorite ones that I have comes from Pluma Negra, which is a brand that makes mezcals, or has mezcals that they source from different mezcaleros. And the whole Pluma Negra thing is that a farmer walks out into the field and he sees one of his agaves that was struck by lightning. And the birds were just, these crows and stuff were diving into this agave and were just having the best time. And so he was like, what's going on with this? And he went over to the agave that's been struck by lightning. It was all just cooked from a lightning bolt. And these birds were having a great time in it. So he was like, what's going on here? So he went and found out it was all fermented. And so then, he tasted it, was like, oh, this is great. It made him happy and blah, blah, blah. And so that's where kind of like the beginning of mezcal came from. So Pluma Negra, they named it Pluma Negra after the black feathers from the birds that were attacking this agave that had been cooked by a lightning bolt. So there's all kinds of legends and stuff that are out there about things like this, which is kind of cool too. Yes, absolutely, Quicksilver, a big rabbit hole. And when you jump down this one, oh boy, it can get crazy. And it can get crazy expensive too. You think tequila's expensive. It can get crazy expensive too with how small some of these batches are. And that's why some of them get really expensive. So, but we're going to be diving into some different expressions from different mezcaleros and stuff. I've got some really good brands too that want to come on and talk and teach you guys about their brands. And so, it's going to be a fun trip. So I hope you guys are ready to go on this with me. I'll hold your hand through it. Don't worry. Rabbit hole, exactly. Yeah, you're ready. Let's do it. I've already dove down it. I've already been running around the rabbit hole. to the point where I've even got some agave spirits from South Africa that we're going to talk about, which is kind of cool. All right, so I think this is a good talk today. I hope you guys got some interesting tidbits of information about mezcals. Bacanoras and stuff are the same. Bacanoras. Now, Sotos are different. They use a different plant. They use Desilirium, which is different. And it's a desert spoon. So there's Desilirium, there's Wiliri, there's like, I'm trying to remember how many different Sotos there. I think there's like 7 different Sotos that they use, which is a desert spoon. It's a different kind of plant. It's from the same kind of subgenre as agave, but it's different. So there's like we can talk about Sotos, and I can actually bring somebody on to talk about Sotos too. We'll have a good talk about Sotos. Sotos are great too, but they're different. They're different than, they're not an agave spirit. It's different, a different plant. It's a desert spoon. And there's like several different kinds of desert spoons they can use for it too. So we'll talk about that separately on another occasion. But hey, this will be the beginning of our mezcal journey together here on the Hombre Cave. So welcome. I hope you got your tasting outfits on and your glasses ready, because this is going to be a fun trip. And what I may do is, on some of these ones that I'm getting in, I may decide, hey, I'm going to cut samples out and send some samples to people that are watching here and commenting and stuff, so you guys can try them without having to buy them. And that way I can help kind of add to your experience a little bit and get you interested in it, because I don't need to keep all these things for myself. I like sharing. Sharing is caring, as my daughter says, and of course I care about all of you guys, and I want you to have the best positive, most positive experience you can with these spirits. So I'll do what I can to get you guys, some of you, the some samples to try when we get into them. Okay. Does your mezcal come in a plastic water bottle wrapped in tape and saran wrap like mine? No, but you can actually get them that way. There's guys that go down when they go to Oaxaca to visit the palenques and stuff. They'll bring 2-liter bottles, like empty 2-liter Coke bottles and stuff, and they'll fill them up there for you, and you just have to wrap them up and bring them back that way. But you have to be careful with customs bringing stuff back like that. But there's guys that get in there all the time and they'll get jugs, because they'll fill jugs up for you. They'll fill anything up for you. They don't care. Not all of them have nice bottles and stuff like this, because not all of them, have an importer and stuff that's buying their product and importing it, or is big and has enough money like La Luna does to do it themselves. Because Salvador, he lives here in the U.S. He has Gran Duvejo's, his brand, his tequila brand. La Luna is his personal mezcal that he has his own venada. I think this is what's called in Michoacan. They call them either venadas or mezcal or palenques. But he's got his own distillery and stuff too. The one that this one was made at was actually the one that his father used, is the family palenque or venada or whatever up in Michoacan, where his family home is. So this one was made in a different area than the regular La Luna was. But there's some really good brands out there, some really good flavor profiles and stuff, and we're gonna dive deep. So I hope you guys are ready for that. It's gonna be fun. So any other questions about mezcals in general that we can talk about right now? We got a few more minutes left before I'm gonna wrap it up, just because talking with this cold thing going on, it's not doing me the best justice. So all right, well, guys, give me a like for the information I'm sharing tonight. Click that thumbs up button, please. But more importantly, be patient on your journey, your mezcal journey. Don't just try one and decide you don't like mezcals, because I guarantee you We can find one that you'll like. You just have to be patient, okay? All right, guys. Have a fantastic evening. We'll see you again for the live stream on Thursday. Until then, life is too short to drink bad tequila or mezcal. So, hey, come along on the journey. Learn. Take some recommendations you'll get from me as well as some other people on here. Try some different things, and you'll be in good shape. Okay. All right. Salute, guys. Bye.